Stop celebrating Dussehra by burning Lord Ravana. We don't have any problem with celebrating the victory of Rama, but burning a king of another country is no manners with insult. I would like to request that please stop burning King Ravana's effigy. This is a request from the innocent people who worshipped Lord Ravana in Sri Lanka. We know that now it becomes a symbol of ending evil and celebrating the victory. From the history we were always rivals, but in this current situation we don't have any problem with anyone, so must give some respect for another country, isn't it? So please, we request to the President of India, don't burn the King of Sri Lanka. It should stop because it hurts when we see it, and that's not a good thing to burn a king of another country. I would like to tell a true story for Dussehra about mighty Lord Ravana. I hope you all will listen about the history of Sri Lanka. First of all, I must say that we don't need to argue, cause you are talking your history and we are talking our history. Ramayana is your book and not ours, and Ravana is our king and not yours. Sri Lankans know well about King Ravana's history more than anyone, because he was our lord. Like Mahadeva have the face of Mahakal and Parvati Mata have the face of Mahakali, but they are not bad as demons. Just like that, Ravana have Rakshas face too. Rakshas represent the Raksha, the protection. Rakshas are the protectors of the world. So the rule and the secret of Asuras was, Asuras are not allowed to worship any other god that is not belong to the clan of Asura. That's why we didn't worship to Vishnu and all. But Mahakal Shiva was the first Asura lord, and that's why Asuras always loved and worshipped Mahadeva. Ravana was the biggest devotee of Lord Shiva. Shiva is not a foolish like people who ruminate. If Ravana was bad, he won't accept him. Today also you guys burn our Lord, but since the Shiv Tandav Stotram well, only Asuras can create such a thing about their lords. And the second thing is, so according to the history of Lanka, Sita was Queen Mandodari and King Ravana's daughter. She was the princess of Lanka, the twin sister of Prince Meghanath. That's why Meghanath started the war for his sister and Ravana for his daughter and sister. Do you think that will a son help a father to marry a girl? Meghanath loved his mother Mandodari a lot. After Lakshmana raped our princess Shuparnaka, they cut her nose because she have lost her virginity. अगर किसी लड़की को कोई गलती हो गए तो आज भी उसका नाक और उसका घर का नाक कट गया कहता है अभी भी इंडिया में. So after she was raped by Lakshmana and Ram cuts her nose, then what should a Chakravarti Raja like Ravana should do? He was too angry at that time and he suddenly went to Dandakaranya forest where Rama used to live. In our manuscript it says that when Rama and Lakshmana heard the sound of Ravana's Pushpak Viman, they ran away to hide. It's not the story what Ramayana says. Ravana haven't done any illusion of golden deer or anything. In front of him, even the god of death Yamaraja surrendered, so Rama was nothing for him at that time. Rama knew that Ravana will never harm any female, so he left Sita and hid himself. And Sita, she never knew anything. Nothing happened in front of her. She doesn't know about Shuparnaka. When Ravana saw Sita, he knew that this lady is Lankan. Even today, if you see an Indian in another country, you can feel that this person is an Indian. So for a Chakravarti king like Ravana, whose chakras were activated from meditations, he knew that this is his daughter well. Obviously, he must know that because he was a rishi too. So he didn't talk with Sita any word. He just held her hand and took her to Lanka. And you guys says that Ravana did an illusion like being a rishi. But can't you guys just understand that he was a Shiv Bhakt, he was a meditator, he was a rishi too. He meditates without jewelries, so it's impossible to recognize whether he's a king or a rishi. The reason why he took Sita suddenly, she was the daughter of Lankadipati and lives in a forest just like a homeless poor lady. When her father is flying from his Vimanas, while he controls 3 worlds, while he have kingdoms that was golden, and after all his daughter lives in a big forest just like a poor lady. Won't King Ravan suffer for that? And the second thing was, he don't want his daughter to live with Rama anymore because what they did to Sita's Bua, Ravan's sister. And Sita shouted a lot, screamed that she can't go with Ravan because Ravan didn't talk anything. He didn't say that he's her father. While Sita was born, Pulasti Rishi predicted that she was too unlucky for the kingdom. If she stays here, then Ravan and Lanka will be lost in future, and the people in Lanka will suffer a lot. That was the reason Ravan gave Sita to King Janak to raise. Because he didn't want his people to suffer because of his own daughter. And when Meghnath and Sita was born, Ravan wanted to control the planets for the benefits of his children. And while Sita born, Sunny was on her own place, and Ravan started a fight with him and cut his leg. And after that Meghnath born. So while he born, everything was okay. Only Sita had to move because of the bad effects of Sunny. And while he took Sita back to Lanka, Ravan didn't thought of anything. He said that let the predictions go to hell. Let me be in vain. I just don't care about anything now. I just need my daughter to have everything that she deserves as a princess. And after taking Sita back to Lanka, Queen Mandodari, Ravan's wife, cried a lot and explained Sita everything, and she apologized for giving her to King Janak. And Ravan also begged her that he was helpless at that time. Every human lived in Lanka was a child to Ravan, so he don't want to see suffer all the children because of his own child. So that's why King Janak adopted Sita. So after they explained everything, and then Sita realized that Rama and Lakshmana was wrong. So while they sent Hanuman to Lanka to bring Sita with him, but Sita Mata refused to go. She catched Hanuman to the Asura army, and she was the one who said that to release him too, because he was a messenger. And while he go, he burned some areas too. And why? We did no wrong for them, but they burn every time. That was not a good behavior really. In the books of history of Sri Lanka, there were some wars between Ravan and Vanaras in Kiskindha. So after Ravan won many wars from them, then they came with Rama at last for a war. So the war happened not between Rama and Ravana, it happened with Asuras and Vanaras. Ravana's brother Vibhishana, who worshipped Vishnu because his tribal was Nag, so he helped to Rama. He said that shoot Ravan from Brahma Yudh right in the middle of his stomach. So Rama did shoot him by hiding himself. He was not enough powerful to come face to face with Ravan. He fainted Ravan by a guerrilla shot. And while he was breathed from suffer, Vibhishana took the kinship, and Ravan said to us at the last time, his last words was, protect my children like a lion who protects his cubs, Vibhishana. Treat them with equality, and then everyone will learn to live equally. And he said a medicine to us that eat it daily and be strong, cause he's going to return soon. And said don't cry, cause I live in the clouds, the sun, the moon, the water, in mountains, in sea, in ponds, in trees, in flowers, in rain, in stones, in air, and every breath you all take. I'm the nature. That was his last words, and his body was disappear. Vibhishana and Nag clan took his body for the treatment. And after Sita knew that her husband killed her father, she jumped into fire to kill herself, cause she put all the blame on her. It's not what Ramayana says, there was no any Agni Puja. She tried to kill herself, but how could she will be burned cause she was Ravan's daughter. And Rama saved her as well, and took her from Ravan's Viman to India. And after going back, she was in a shock, and she committed suicide, cause she couldn't tolerate her father's loss. So, everything is there in Lanka. Visit once there and go around, you will find many things. After Ravan, Valmiki, who stayed in prison for some time, wrote the history of Ravan. Of course, he's a villain in Ramayana, but to Lankans, he's the real hero, the life. Go for a temple, you will find Ravan was not just a devotee of Lord Shiva, he was also a devotee of Buddhism. Lord Buddha's theory was his world. There are many periods of Buddhas about Ravan in Lankavatara Sutra as well. Ravan was a Buddhist. He didn't eat meat, he didn't kill animal and do yagya's, and the name Ravana means Ra, the sun, the Surya, Vana, Vanshash, the generation. So Ravana means Surya ka Vanshash, not the Ra, because it is a singular word and the Ravan was a Lankan, so we have each and every detail about our king. And in your Ramayana, it have mentioned that when Meghanath killed Lakshmana, Hanuman went to take the Sanjeevani plant for his rebirth. But for real, at that time, Ravan came there to treat. He was the one who gave rebirth to Lakshmana. Meghanath killed Lakshmana cause what he was done to Shubharnaka, and while he was doing the Agni Puja, Ram and Lakshmana attacked him. It's really bad when someone is doing penance or a puja. It's not good to attack or bother them even, because he didn't have any weapon either. So see how bad Lakshmana was. That's why Meghanath killed by hitting him for his neck. But Ravan went there with the plant of Sanjeevani and gave rebirth to him. Don't forget that Ravan was a doctor. He invented Halaveda Shastra and there are many medicine books written by Ravan. At that time also he helped Lakshmana. Meghanath was too angry. He cut a big rock to control his anger with his father. And Ramayana says that Hanuman fly by holding the mountain from Himalaya. But if Hanuman could carry such a big mountain, then why the hell he wasted his precious time on building a bridge to Lanka? He could carry his whole army from his shoulders to Lanka, isn't it? And carrying a mountain doesn't make a sense even. Alright, but apart from that, when Ravan and Indra had a fight for immortality, while Indra chased them, then Mahadev Shiv came and gave the Sanjeevani plant for Asuras because it equals the Amrit, and gave the knowledge to them about the plant for how to treat a dead body. So my point is, how could Vanaras got to know about that? Because that was the knowledge of Asura Rishis, not even normal Asuras. No Dev, Manushya or Vanar knew about that. So we can see now this was the big story of Valmiki who wrote Ramayana to make Ravan the villain. Because the one who is alive will write the history. They can write whatever they want. Valmiki was an Indian, so obviously he will make Ravan the villain and Rama the hero, with hiding everything and making a wonderful story. So who did wrong now, Ravan or Ram? When Ravan used to control the world, everything was okay. He got medicines for death even. Everyone was treated good. But after Rama took the control, what happened to the world now? What happened to the land of gold? Everything was looted. In many temples, they broke the statue of Ravan and replaced the statue of Rama. And the biggest thing we lost was Ravan's blood, Mata Sita. Before Ravan, his great-grandfather Sumali had a war with Lord Vishnu because Vishnu wanted to take over Lanka, but Sumali defeated Vishnu because it was always Mahadev's land and Vishnu's goal always was to take over Lanka, so he did what he wanted. And don't tell that Ravan killed rishis and munis. His father was a muni, Vishrava. His grandfather was a rishi, Pulastya, and he was one of the mind-born sons of Brahma. So how could Ravan kill rishis? After being the biggest devotee of Lord Shiva, how could he kill rishis? Ravan had the blood connections with Mahadev and Brahma, but not with Vishnu. He was always an outsider. It's like choosing someone from Mahadev and Vishnu. Who will you choose, Ram or Ravan? So how could Ravan kill rishis? After all, he himself was a rishi. After all, he fought with his own brother Kuber for killing and doing animal sacrifices for pujas. And you know what, you Indians says that Ravan snatched the Pushpak Viman from his brother Kuber. But when Kuber went to hide from Lanka to India, he went from Ravana's Pushpak Viman, and then Indians thought that it was his Vimana. And after, Ravan went and gave his brother a beautiful kingdom and took his Vimana back, because it belongs to Ravan, and then you guys said Ravan snatched it. And he had more Vimanas, not just a Pushpak Viman. From all his Vimana, Kuber took Pushpak after taking what belongs to Ravan again, and then again people start insulting that he took it by fighting. Don't talk bad about our kings because we know about our Sri Lankan Asura kings well. Sita was our princess and she was treated good. And why burning Ravana when he did nothing? My points are a father who takes his daughter back and gave her all the happiness as a princess, a brother who sacrificed himself for his sister's esteem, a king who was a father to all the people who made golden houses for every poor. A rishi more than a king, he used to wear the simple white clothes more than wearing heavy golden jewelries. A husband that stand up from the puja that can kill all the Vanara army and all, only to protect his wife from stupid Angad, Hanuman and all when they troubles to Queen Mandodari, and who was the grandson of Brahma. Why burning him? He was innocent, he just need the justice now. There was a bandhan called Raksha Bandhan. A brother is always protecting his sister. Who protected the sister first? Ravan. He was the Arakshak of Shuparnaka. That's how Ravan the Rakshaska Bandhan changes into Raksha Bandhan. A brother is always there for his sister, and after he is standing for his sister, the whole society will come together and burn him. Is it fair? Just like that, we have to feel him. We have to feel his good. His energy is still alive. Just feel it. Don't burn it. India was his Asura empire too. You know, Burai ka Ant or whatever, in every year we suffer a lot by seeing you guys burn our Lord. We get hurt a lot. Because you know the history from Valmiki's story. Without reading a story like Ramayana, go and read a book like Kumara Tantra, Uddisha Tantra and feel the Ravan. Feel the real in Ravan. You will feel how good Ravan was, how protective Ravan the Rakshas was. My request is to stop burning Lord Ravana. You will realize one day, but it will be too late. Please share this video with your friends before this Dussehra, because I know deep inside it's not gonna work, it's not gonna stop. Whatever I say, it will be in vain. How louder I say the real history, no one will listen, because they need to enjoy Dussehra. Because the truth is the hardest to accept for many people, and the truth takes lots of time. So share this video with your friends, because in this Dussehra, you will stand up in front of Ravan and see him burning. You will see a father, a brother, a husband, a king who sacrificed his life for his loved ones. You will see a real hero inside of that burning fire. Ravan is dead, but the good thing he have done is immortal. May Ravan bless you all. Thank you so much for watching, guys.
Pabindu Vijini Sara Atindu Govamanu Tasindu Dodanamu Peria Manarunu Kagan Diaganunu Karama Manu Devindu Asura Rishi Akindu Pulaya Rivi Pabindu Vijini Sara Atindu Govamanu Tasindu Dodanamu Peria Manarunu Kagan Diaganu